Alcohol is, without doubt, one of the most destructive substances known to humanity. Every year it claims more lives than terrorism, wars, homicides, and car accidents combined. It injures tens of millions through accidents, violence, and crime, while hundreds of millions live with illnesses caused by it. If alcohol didn't already exist, inventing it today would be unimaginable. And yet, more than 2 billion people drink. We can hardly imagine a barbecue without beer, a wedding without wine, or a celebration without champagne. We drink on weekends because it's the weekend, but also after work. We drink when we're stressed, when we're relaxed, when we're sad, and when we're happy, at home and out with others. Alcohol is a paradox. Why do we cling so tightly to something that harms us the most? At its core, alcohol is a biological weapon created by yeast during fermentation to kill off its competition. In our drinks, it's mixed with water and flavored with fruits, grains, or even caramel. With just one sip, countless molecules rush into the stomach and intestines, flooding the liver and brain. The liver can only process a tiny amount every few minutes, so drinking too fast overwhelms it, leaving the brain to absorb the excess. That's where the chaos begins. Alcohol interferes with neurotransmitters, slowing down neurons, numbing responses, and disrupting communication. It sedates us, melts away tension, and impairs the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for judgment and self-control. It also releases endorphins, the chemicals that bond us together in laughter, music, and dance. After a few drinks, the world feels lighter, and being with others feels easier. The invisible walls of insecurity crumble, conversations flow, and strangers can become friends or lovers. Alcohol sits at the crossroads of relaxation, courage, and companionship, an ideal social lubricant, but one that comes at a heavy cost. For billions, occasional drinking gradually turns into routine. A weekend beer becomes a weekly habit, then a daily ritual. And although some people seem unaffected despite drinking heavily, the damage quietly accumulates. Alcohol dissolves in both water and fat, invading nearly every cell in the body. When broken down, it becomes acetaldehyde, an even more toxic chemical that attacks tissues, damages DNA, and kills cells. In the brain, neurons shrink and connections are severed, slowing memory and thought while raising the risk of dementia. The younger you are, the worse the impact, since the human brain isn't fully developed until the mid-20s. Heavy drinking in adolescence is a major risk factor for early dementia, while binge drinking can cause cognitive problems lasting for years. Alcohol is also a proven carcinogen, linked to at least 8 types of cancer, including breast cancer in women. Even small amounts, less than a glass of wine a day, raise the risk. Worldwide, it causes around 740,000 cancer cases and 400,000 deaths annually. The liver suffers even more. Alcohol disrupts fat metabolism, causing fatty buildup, inflammation, and eventually cirrhosis, scarring that renders the organ almost useless. Every year, 600,000 people die from alcohol-damaged livers. The heart is another casualty. Drinking increases blood pressure, weakens the heart, and raises the likelihood of stroke and clotting disorders, killing another 500,000 annually. On top of this, alcohol accelerates aging of the skin, packs on calories, and drives weight gain, fueling obesity and related diseases. Statistically, health risks begin with as little as 1 beer per day, and the chance of early death rises sharply with 3 daily beers for men or fewer than 2 for women. In much of the Western world, average consumption hovers dangerously close to this threshold. Alcohol is uniquely destructive because it doesn't only harm the drinker, it harms others. Each year, 500,000 people die in accidents linked to alcohol, including 300,000 in car crashes, many of them innocent victims. Around half of violent crimes and sexual assaults involve intoxicated offenders, claiming another 100,000 lives annually. Millions more are injured every year by someone else's drinking, while 600,000 babies are born with lifelong disorders due to alcohol consumption during pregnancy. When drinking reaches the point where it causes serious harm, the line into alcoholism has been crossed. Today, about 400 million people live with alcoholism, and more than half of them are dependent, psychologically or physically unable to function without alcohol. Unlike stereotypes of the constantly drunk or visibly unwell, Many alcoholics lead seemingly normal lives. Professionals, parents, friends, all drinking several drinks daily while flying under the radar. This normalization is part of what makes alcohol so insidious. Why do we accept this? In many ways, humanity struck a bargain with alcohol. For millennia, it has offered us confidence, connection, and a way to celebrate together. It helped strangers bond, made conversations flow, and gave us a temporary escape from social anxiety. But the costs, our health, our lives, our relationships, are staggering. Now things are changing. Younger generations, especially Gen Z, are drinking far less than their parents. Rates of underage drinking and binge drinking have dropped dramatically, even in countries where alcohol has been woven into the cultural fabric. This decline means fewer accidents, fewer hospitalizations, and fewer lives lost. But at the same time, social bonds are also weakening. Fewer friendships, fewer parties, more loneliness, and rising mental health struggles. Alcohol has been a central part of human culture for thousands of years, shaping how we celebrate and connect. If society is now moving toward drinking less, we may be entering a new chapter, one where we must discover different ways to come together without relying on a toxic crutch. The future of connection may depend on what we choose to replace it with.